Hello, welcome to Always Yarn First, the podcast that delves into knitting, crochet, spinning, and all things yarn. I'm Lindsay, and I'm coming to you from Central Arkansas. To stay updated on my latest yarn adventures, you can follow me on Instagram and Ravelry as Always Yarn First. Welcome, everyone. Quick admin before we get right into it is I am hosting a year-long make-along. It is called the Love My Stash Mal. Knitting and crochet is you can do both. The only rules is you need to have it in your stash from before this calendar year, and you need to use at least 50 grams of yarn for your project. Post your entries on my Ravelry group page, which is linked below. I will pull a prize every month. If you're from the US, you will get a physical prize from me. If not, I will purchase you a pattern of your choice on Ravelry. And the last thing is I am a Knit Picks ambassador. So I have a discount code for 15% off your whole purchase. That code is below also. All right. Hello, everyone. It is April the 23rd. It is a Wednesday, and this is episode 87. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you will enjoy something here and will stick around, like and subscribe. I do a traditional podcast style, although I do name every episode after a song title because before my love of yarn was my love of music, and I always find a song that's appropriate to either my making or my life or something of that sort. And this week I have named the episode number 87 the song Hey Look Ma, I Made It by Panic at the Disco. I do have a Spotify playlist with all of my song titles from episodes linked below. Okay, as per usual lately, I only have a few things I have touched, but I have a finished object. And will you be able to guess what it is? No, because you haven't even seen it. I haven't even posted it on social media, so super excited about that. So this week I have a finished objects, a cast on, whips, acquisitions, and that's it. So this will be a short one. Let's get into my finished object. Okay, so after the last episode, when I was talking about how I feel like I haven't been showing much, I've only been working on a couple things, I'm not really finishing anything, but I was very happy with what I was making. And this year my goal is to work on things that bring me joy, which check, I am definitely doing that. I'm only touching projects that I am happy with working with at the time. And so that's a great thing. But I was kind of missing that feeling of finishing an object. So I made myself a little personal challenge. Lori and Jessa from where I work, Arkansas Yarn Co., they went to Ireland. So I made myself a personal challenge to cast on my Tolsta tank, which is our garment that we have chosen for this year's yarn crawl, where we all knit the same thing and then take pictures at the yarn crawl. I thought, okay, I'm going to cast on and try to finish this before they get home. And I did it. So I'm not wearing it today, but I will put in a picture. I wore it to work yesterday. I knew this was a doable challenge for me because I chose DK weight. The great thing about the Tolsta tank is you can do it in fingering weight or DK. There's instructions for both, and there's 3 different necklines. So here is mine. I chose the square neck. I used, there's a big old hair on here. I used Knitty McPurly's March 2025 colorway. So you can't purchase this. She always has a special colorway of the month. I fell in love with this green. It's gorgeous. You can tell where I changed skeins, but I do not mind at all. I love that there's like every tone of green in here. Now I had purchased 3 skeins of her Dubrovnik DK base in this colorway. That was literally all she had on the website. And I barely got into the third skein. I knit the size 5. I finished, so the last thing you do after the body is you pick up stitches and then you cast on stitches and do the bands here, the straps. I finished one with my second ball, so I literally just had to do my second strap getting into the third ball of yarn, which is crazy. So I probably will make maybe a pair of DK socks with that. And then I always like to leave some scraps when I've made a garment, because later on down the line, if there's a hole or something in it, I like to have the exact same color. Maybe, I don't know if anyone else does that, but I love this. It fits so well. In fact, I'm going to cast on another one. Now, Lori has this thing where, especially with tank tops, if she has a tank top that she's loved, I think it was one of the Jessie made, I can't remember, the Secret Summer Crop. I think that Lori has made like 5 of those. That's like her go-to, like I need a project, I'm going to be in the car traveling, and I'm going to cast that on and make one real quick. So I'm going to make another one of these because this was so much fun. And I really enjoy DK, one, because it goes fast, and I like the way it feels on my body. So I'm going to kind of go into acquisition just a little bit here, because I'm still talking about this tank. So I was at work and I was like, what can I make? Because I don't have a lot of stashes of like DK. And I was looking around, I pulled some yarn out, I was looking at them all day to decide what I wanted to do. Then I remember of a certain project I had made. If you've been here a while, I test knit a sweater vest with DK weight. I had bought a special color that Macy of Mace of Skeins dyed for Arkansas Yarn Co. So you can't get it anymore. And I loved the color. I got 3 skeins of it. I love the color so much. I made this test knit, and I won't say who it's by, but the test knit was written horribly. And I'm not just saying that it was my gauge, because all the test knitters, there was like excess fabric right here. It did not look good, I think, on anybody. So then I was really bummed that I used this yarn that I loved so much for this test knit, and it was wasted. So I remembered that I had that. So I went through my closet and I found it. So here is the dreaded sweater vest that is a mess. But look at the color of this yarn. That's what we're focusing on, not this pattern. I am going to frog this. So this is 3 skeins, and I figured with the little bit of waste I'll get, frogging this, I will have plenty. And bonus, because I already know this fits and fits nicely with DK weight, like I know that I'm going to have a garment I will actually love with this yarn. The one thing I'm going to do differently that comes into the acquisition part is when Macy dyed this color, so this is called Frosting with Sprinkles, and this one is called Pink Birthday Cake. So they went together. We still had some DK of this at the shop. So what I think I'm going to do is I bought this one skein to go with this, and I think I'm going to do all the ribbing in the pink. I think that'll be so fun. I'm so excited. Now, I will say also, this fits well. I'm very happy with it. I will get a lot of wear out of it. However, I feel like I think I'm going to go down a needle size. Do the same size, which is size 5 for this. But I feel like I'm going to go down a needle size because I wouldn't mind just a little less give. Especially, this is blocked. So I wore it after it was blocked. Very comfortable. But I feel like this, after time might grow a bit. So I'm just a little concerned. Again, super comfortable. Love it. Will wear it as is. Absolutely great. And I think I also, so when you pick up, you knit 6 rows on this to create this. Now this did cover my bra straps pretty much exactly right where it was. I just followed the directions. Although I'm thinking I may make that just a tad wider, like maybe knit 8 rounds with that instead of 6, just to make it a tiny bit thicker. But again, love, love, love this pattern. Fantastic. The Tolsta Tank by Rebecca Clow. And I'm so excited that I remembered I had this. 1, that I didn't have to buy all that yarn, and 2, that I will get to actually wear this color. So that is my finished object. I was keeping that a secret because I was really trying to do that challenge and the pattern was so easy. This is my first Rebecca Clow pattern and was great. So, all right, let's get into my one cast on. Now my cast on kind of ties in with this tank also, because I know the last podcast I had said I was getting ready to go to the theater to watch a movie and I didn't have any vanilla knitting, so I was going to cast on a sock. So this is that sock. And I didn't get very far because then I decided about the challenge. I cast on that as bottom up, that tank. So I cast on Friday morning and I did the ribbing. So I worked on the sweater in the round during the movie. But I had already cast on this sock. So this sock I have, this is Hopemade Yarn Co. The base is JoJo's Favorite, which is a 75-25, 4-ply fingering, 437 yards, 100 grams. And this is in the colorway Lichen. So this is all caked up. I love this. It's just really simple with just delicate speckles of color. So I did a toe up sock. I literally cast on the toe, got the toe done, and I'm like, okay, I'm good for the movie. And I've done like maybe a couple rounds since then, but it has been all about that tank top. So, but I will get to this, and I do love that color, how it's knitting up. So yeah, not much to say about that. Just a vanilla toe up sock. And that is the only cast on I've done. So let's get into the couple of whips I have done. All right, I don't think, no, I wasn't. I was not finished with my first sock. My first whip is my Squiggle Wiggle socks. So this was a test knit for Shannon Hobbs, which is Cozy Kitty knits, I believe. But this pattern is out now. This is Squiggle Wiggle socks, and I used Night Owl fibers. The peaches are Watery, and then just a navy that I keep close by for that. So I think I might have been done with the sock last time, but not the heel. I can't remember. But this is an afterthought heel, and this is Shannon's own recipe for her heel. She has another pattern, if you're interested in a vanilla sock, but trying her heel. She has a Bigfoot sock pattern, and I will link that one below also. So this is an afterthought heel, and if you can see, I can't tell if it's showing, but I'm hoping it does. It is different than other afterthought heels I have done. And honestly, because this is my first time doing this heel, and I am a creature of habit and always do either the shadow wrap or my regular afterthought, before I Kitchenered this together, I had it on magic loop and I tried it on because I was doing it to pattern as a good test knitter should. However, I wanted to see if it fit before I closed the stitches. So if I knew I had to basically rip back and do my regular afterthought. And it fit fantastic. Really, really good. And the great thing about this is a lot of people with like a high instep need more room. And so those people I've heard say that they can't do an afterthought heel because it does not fit their foot. However, Shannon includes in this heel recipe additional room for if you have that problem. So I did not do that step because I don't have that issue. I did just the regular, but she includes an additional thing. So if you've said that you cannot do afterthought heels before, I would definitely suggest buying Shannon's pattern and giving this a try. I would love to know if this works for you. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. This is a great sock. I think it's so cute, and I am in my second sock. So pretty much I've been working on this and that tank because I know this needs to be done at the end of the month. So you can see I'm done with the leg, and I have put in my forethought, which is this brown line here. That is where my heel will be cut in. So now the back of this is just vanilla, and the front is still the patterning. So I'm well on my way. I'm not worried about getting this done by the end of the month, especially since I finished my tank. I won't cast on the next one till I have finished this one. But yeah, here is my yarn caked up. The peaches are watery. And I believe we do have some of these at Arkansas Yarn Co. also. Especially if you were doing Rachel from Night Owl Fibers year-long sock knit along. All right, I only have one more whip, and it's the same one we've seen. This is my Dorid scarf, and I meant to look at my last podcast to see where I was, and I don't remember. I do have a stitch marker on here. That's when I started the next row of triangles, but I don't know if that's where I was last time, but I've done some more triangles with my short rows. I am enjoying this. The yarn I am using is Artistic Yarn by Abby in the color Watercolor Stripe. So much fun, so pretty. I love these bright bold colors. I have a couple of very long plain dresses that I like this time of year, sleeveless, and I thought this would just be a fun pop of color to wear with them. And that is all I've worked on, you guys. I haven't done any spinning. This is literally all my making in the last 2 weeks, but I started and finished a garment, so I am super, super stoked about that, and I consider it a big win. All right, so let's get into acquisitions. So I have my subscription things have come in, and then my 2 skeins of Night Owl that I had talked about last podcast, but I was waiting on. So let's start with my Gritty Knits subscription. This is the All Year Advent, and this is color 41, 42. This is where I get 2 20-gram minis a month, fingering weight, and they fade with the last one. I still have last month's here. So last month's are like black and gray. Let's see, 39. There we go. That is the correct order. So yeah, those are fun. I'm just kind of putting them up here. When I get one more month, then I will work on the project that I'm using that for. Then Then I got my Knitty McPurly League of Extraordinary Sock Knitters Club. And look at more greens. So this is the May club of hers. Every month she specifically dyes different things to go for a pattern from Summer Lee's book to make a certain pair of socks. And then she lets you know which pattern to do with this pair. And then she makes a stitch marker to mimic what the sock actually looks like. with the color she's chosen, which is so cool. So sometimes you get a full skein, sometimes you get 2 skeins here. This is like 250-gram skeins. Yeah. I've gotten a full skein with a mini. I've gotten a bunch of minis. It just is different every month depending on what pattern. I haven't knit any of these up, but eventually I will. And I think what I like about it, even though I haven't knit them up, when you get, she has a card that comes in it to say this month we're knitting this pattern, but it's actually right on the label. So right on the label, so when this goes in my stash and I'm like, oh, if I want to still knit what she picked out for this, I know exactly which socks. This is the Trompe le Monde socks from the Sock Project book, page 118 to 121. So, which is awesome. So I don't have to knit them right away. It says right on the label what it is, which I very much appreciate. All right, the last thing is my Night Owl fibers, which I had mentioned last time. I used my coupon for the year-long make-along and got some skeins that I was waiting on. So those came in. I got this one, which is Bird Watching. Both of these are Barn Owl socks, 75/25, 437 yards. And this one is Color Me Bright. So yeah, that and my Mace of Skeins is the only thing besides my clubs, which have come in. And so that's all of my acquisitions. I'm trying to think if there's anything else going on. A tiny bit of work things. Today is April 23rd. This Saturday, if you watch this podcast right away, the 26th is local yarn shop day. And we hope to see you at Arkansas Yarn Co. If you are local to us, but definitely go support whatever your local yarn shop is. It's a day to celebrate them and you keeping your local yarn shops in business. Also, the end of May, I mentioned before, it will be Arkansas Yarn Co.'s 6th year in business as a brick and mortar store. So we're having a celebration that day, and that will be super fun. So definitely plan on being there and be looking out for the specialty bag you can purchase before then. That's all I gotta say about that. All right, that is it. It is a short and sweet one today, which is all good. I hope you all are enjoying your making and you are enjoying the spring or fall, depending on where you are at in the world. And I thank you so much if you stayed all the way to the end. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.